Hey YouTube, it's been a while. I hope you're all doing okay. There's a new longer travel documentary film coming up on our channel, so stay tuned for that. For now though, I just wanted to give you an update. So last year, I was lucky enough to be in the market for a new adventure bike, and I now had some experience with it, so I thought it was time to give you a 10,000 km plus review of my own 2021 Tenere 700. It's a very fun bike to ride, and I'm commuting on it almost every day. Off-road to me it was immediately confidence inspiring, and from the beginning I wanted to use it the way it was advertised to us since its tease back in 2016 at the EICMA. But since the T7 is an adventure bike and not an enduro, longer distances on pavement are of course also a joy with its smooth twin cylinder. Let me show you what I modified on the bike so far. When I got it, I adjusted the brake lever and throttle position, as well as the handlebar position to my liking, and I reduced the throttle play a bit. I obviously did the C-tag. For protection, I mounted the Yamaha chain guide and the sturdier OEM radiator guard from the beginning. Also bark busters, because the original handguard broke literally on my first unfortunate drop. I installed a Buick short tail kit. It wasn't all plug and play, but pretty much held up since, although this nylon reflector holder broke off from riding on loose trails and had been replaced already. Maybe I have to use a rubber flap to mount the reflector. I adjusted the suspension settings to my liking. Actually, I decreased the damping in the front to reduce vibrations on double trails and increased the rebound on the front a bit. Also, I compromised on reducing the preload on the back to reach the ground better on slower trails. I switched the stock 12-volt power outlet fuse from 2 to 5 amps because I couldn't charge my drone batteries otherwise. So far it has worked fine, but no guarantees on that one. I'm not an electrician. My ram mount X-grip was adopted from my DR650 with some rubber plugged under, and also works fine on this bike, as is to be expected. Last year I tried the D606 and D908 combo. They're a bit expensive, but you can get over 6,000 kilometers out of the rear, which is nice. I'm trying the Mitas E09 Dakar at the back and the Terraforce EF in the front at the moment. The Terraforce seems to be a bit overkill if you only plan on going on double trails though. It's a pretty aggressive tire. What surprised me was how fast I used up the stock rear brake pads. They needed replacement at about 6K while I was traveling. That's how they look at the moment. My front brake pads are still fine though. Also my side stand switch broke on a rock and has already been bypassed. From my experience, you can drop the bike without protection bars, but the plastics will scratch obviously. What did crack already though was this mudguard. I replaced it on both sides. Also, the brake lever had bent already from an unfortunate drop. My windshield already has some damages from stones. The headlight is okay though. My rims were scratched quite badly, and unfortunately on the front there is a bend from a hit with under 1.5 bars. Since the bike was so new, I decided to give the rims a new coat of paint. I didn't use a second 2K clear coat, so I'll probably have to redo that at some point. The paint on this bike does scratch through pretty easily though, and I had to repaint parts here and there. For example, this plastic cover was scratched through by my riding pants, and I repainted it with custom matching paint. Also, there are beginnings of rust up front on the tank at the exposed weld. I just greased it up for now. My warranty is going to run out in 2023, so let's see what they're going to say at the next service. After about 5,000 kilometers, I noticed a plasticky clunking noise coming from the front tower. It was pretty annoying. I tried to get rid of it with vibration pads all around the fairing and the headlight, but as it turns out, it actually was the triple clamp top screw that came loose and was only hand tied at the end. CatScan Bill talked about this problem on advrider.com and made me aware of this pretty severe issue. I thank him a lot for that. Recently I went for double take mirrors because my previous folding mirrors broke, as did pretty much all other mirrors I have ever owned. Also I bought Pro Grip Rally grips to improve vibrations on the handlebar. I installed a new mount for my drone remote with the Rally Raid top bar clamp, and I switched to plastic screws on the front fender for safety. To add to the T7's long distance capabilities, I decided to buy the Googlertech fuel filter insert in case I go to Asia. Also, I secured the arc clips on the front brake pins because I had already lost one. For weight saving, I decided to remove the rear brake pads when I go off-road. Recently I installed the Moose Racing heated grips which are installed under the actual grips. I wired them to the right side original 10 amp accessory fuse circuit. I also wanted to use a simple cable tie cruise control, but it didn't work. Maybe you know a cheap alternative to the rather bulky Atlas throttle lock. For luggage, I have used two Krieger OS 18s with a duffel bag on top of a Reckless OS base, similar to my setup on the DR650, which has worked many thousands of kilometers on the Suzuki. As it turns out, the T7's rear plastic fairing is not sturdy enough to carry all this weight without a support rack. I generally try to pack light, but I also love to be self-sustained when traveling and camp outside, so I have to carry some gear. So recently I decided on a more classical luggage rack and bigger soft cases, namely the Krieger OS 22 and OS 32 plus one OS 18 on top. Let's see how this setup holds up. So far I can only report that they do rub on the ground if you ride aggressively with too much lean angle on pavement. This is disappointing because I'm not a street racer by any means, but this issue was foreseeable, I guess. With this bigger capacity luggage setup, I added a bottle holder to transport 2 liters of extra fuel, which extends the range slightly. All in all, the T7 is a great bike and I'm very happy to take care of it. I mentioned everything I changed, the rest is stock. The T7 feels like a machine that keeps on giving, even if you trash it through rocky trails. It has a joyful engine and is very comfortable on double trails. I'm very happy I bought it, and the dealer experience here in Austria was good. Back in March of 2021 I paid 10,350 euro for it, which I think is a fair price for what you get. Let's see where this T7 will take me next. Thanks for watching and goodbye for now.